Hello my friends, if you like my work, please remember to click thumb up, subscribe to my channel or hit the notification bell to be informed about new videos. I'd just like to say thank you to all my patrons, please join them if you can, the link is in the description below. As a proud father I must boast that my son built and painted his first model. Of course I helped him a little, but the most important thing is that I think I managed to sow a seed. We already have a plan for the next model, and I hear requests for help in building my models. Lovely. Okay, Leopard is waiting for weathering, so let's get to work. I started with the trucks that will be mounted on the model for a couple minutes. You probably remember I have already painted whole pieces, so today I will do a lot of light brown wash dust on them. I apply it all over the trucks and dry it with an accelerator. Of course on both sides. I apply a metallic pigment on the silver stripes using a silicone tip, which works perfectly here. With one move they polish the surfaces of the trucks, but also the teeth. The effect is perfect. After that the trucks are ready to be put on the wheels. Well, after the trucks also the wheels need to absorb some dirt. Of course I use the same wash again to do the initial dusting here. Then I build up some dried mud with pigments. Of course I dry all wheels again with the accelerator, which will be used very often today, so I won't even mention its use too much. I also found an old pigment fixer and decided to use it for this model. This is why it has some different shade and it's not transparent. I soaked the dried pigment once more to be sure that it would stick to the surface as I wish. When all the wheels were dry, I wiped the inside of them with an ordinary cotton bud to smooth. Yes, that's probably the best word that comes to my mind, to smooth the inside. I didn't wipe off the pigment completely, I threw the rest into the container, and the effect that was created in this way was exactly what I wanted. Just dried mud in a small amount but in various ways arranged on the surface of the wheel. Of course the bandages were properly dusted as well. This time I didn't use my fingers to polish the surface. As a result I have something like this. Note that in the top row the first wheels from the left and in the bottom row the first ones from the right are a bit more clogged with mud. It's not a coincidence. This was the idea, and the reason was the fact that when turning in muddy terrain the last wheels often collect the most mud. Of course, all wheels can have such a portion of pigments, but from the modeling point of view, to ensure interest and catch the viewer's eye, I use such a trick. The hull requires much more work than the previous elements. First of all, the first layer of dust is the same color I put on the trucks earlier. Here I painted the low parts of the hull with it, but also the side covers. Note that only one on each side. This will have some influence into the final effect. On the top surface, mainly around the turret ring, I added some of this color and also on the bottom of the turret. Okay, before everything is dirty, I did a little wash. I didn't wash the entire model, but only selected fragments that needed some more love. Tools, some space between the plates were the main places where I applied. Of course, I covered the surfaces with glossy varnish beforehand. Apart from the hull, the different surfaces of the turret had a few drops of wash falling into the larger depressions, but in general, if I compare it to other models, there was really not much of it here. And now begins this stage of all weathering, which will change the appearance of this model a lot. I prepared the dust using this cool set by applying it to the model like regular painting. Exactly. Following the photos, I decided to do a really strong weathering here. Do you remember this photo from the previous episode? Well, that's where the sides of the hull are completely covered with dirt, dust and dried mud. But you can't do it like in reality, where the dirt coating is quite uniform, because then the model will be impassive and flat. The solution is to use different textures. That's why I cover the surface with paint the most, to have a good base for pigments application. The reason for going this way is also the fact that the Leopard is quite a specific vehicle when it comes to the modeling point of view. It's hard to add something from extra bundles to it, because its design definitely excludes such effects. There are two possibilities. They can be used separately or both at the same time. Firstly, masking, and secondly, weathering. As you can see, I'm going to use both possibilities. This is due to my individual preferences, because I like models that look so expressive, far from clean and shiny models with basic weathering. If you follow my channel, you probably already noticed that this is my style. It's important to build up the first layer of dust not as a uniform coating, but rather irregular patches. The pigments that will appear on the model in a moment will do an additional job and change the current appearance a lot. Just like the base layer, the pigments are an important part to build up all the dirt on the vehicle. You have to remember not to overdo it. Coping the amount of mud from real vehicles doesn't work on models, and I don't think more than 50% is enough to make a model look good. The second important thing is the proper gluing of pigments to the model. Pigment fixer is a good product, but it will never be as hard as ready-to-use products that dry to a completely hard surface. You have to choose, because each of these products has its own characteristics and we will get different effects with them. In my opinion, the natural character of pigments will never be replaceable by anything else, but that's my subjective opinion. Maybe that's why I like working with them so much despite the mess that is created during application. This was the longest stage of the whole weathering, but at the same time the most effective one. After applying it, the model changed completely, becoming very realistic, and I'm very happy with how it looks. So for now I would like to show you the whole way I went with the dry matte preparation. You can skip it and just fast forward to the next chapter. Oh, and just remember, I also did an open the box episode where I show and talk a bit about the model. I prepared it as always so you can see up close how Border made the parts and what additionally is in the box. You can find the link in the description below. If you did enjoy today's video, please like it, write a comment, even to say hello, and for all of you who are here for the first time, don't forget to subscribe to my channel as I said in the beginning of today's episode. Please do it now, and remember that here you will find movies every Monday and often also on Thursdays. And if you have the opportunity, join to my Patreon, because your support is highly appreciated and helps me do what I do here at coldemonspl. Thanks to this, I will try to give you some interesting content to keep you informed and entertained. Thank you very much. And as always, I would like to say thank you to all my patrons who support my work. You are great guys. And now let's back to make some fresh mud. Wet spots will definitely increase the effectiveness of weathering. To make them I used a mix of fresh mud and earthy grime wash, which was supposed to dilute the AK product. Applying wet spots is much faster process than applying pigments, but here too you should remember about amount. Better less than more. In addition to large stains, I also did some speckling to create small mud splashes. And importantly, I also painted the entire bottom of the model, which many modelers forget or leave out. For me, it's obvious that this is a part like any other and you need to spend some time preparing it. On the side covers and on the wheels I made the spots the same as before. In addition, I painted some spills and didn't forget about splashes. So, to sum up, we have three elements of weathering here that are the most important for the appearance of the model: dust, dry mud and fresh mud. The combination of these three elements is crucial, and you need to know from the very beginning what effect you want to achieve. Thanks to this, we can reflect the entire character of the vehicle, which is so important in the case of the Leopards too. I think the effect I achieved here is pretty nice. Let me know if it's cool or if it's just me. Finally, I did some fumes using black pigment and applying it directly to the model. I didn't protect it, so it has a better texture. Additionally, I polished the edges here and there with soft pencil. So, I hope you had a good time watching this series. It was a nice time with a nice model, and the end result makes me happy, and I believe that you like it too. More photos of this model in super quality are available on my Patreon. This is quite possible that in some time there will be an article in one of the modeling magazines. That's all for today, see you next time, cheers!